Cut the music. Let's go.
Let's go, squad.
We are really doing it on the Ray and Adam show today. We have what I think is going to be the future of this show, a four-person panel where we're just going to talk about shit, solve all the world's problems in 1 hour or less, and hopefully have a couple of chuckles along the way. This is probably one of the last shows until fall where I can truly say we have optimal sporting options to discuss. We've got, in no particular order, NBA finals, NHL finals start tonight. We have the US Open starting this week. We are in full swing of baseball. What else am I missing? Anything else? CFL is back up. Saskatchewan Roughriders 1-0. No big deal. No big deal.
Hey, can I ask a question off the hop here, guys?
Yes.
Ray, can you lose us some more money to start the show again?
Oh, I could certainly try. I haven't been following these ball games though, but if I get bored of you guys, I'll just look on the 365 and see if I can't do that for you.
Well, they're sorting this out. Pacer, you just knocked one off the old bucket list. You saw arguably your favorite basketball player ever, or definitely your favorite basketball player ever?
Definitely
your favorite basketball player ever. You saw game, when was it? 2 nights ago? You were in San Fran?
Yeah, I was at Game 5 at Chase Center in San Francisco.
No big deal. And like, for those of you that don't know, so there's like, I think there's a couple different kinds of sports fans. There's the bandwagon jumper who just will, follow whoever they're doing. There's the loyal to the team. And then there's the loyal to the player guy who will just follow certain players at whatever team they go to. My oldest and closest friend, he was the world's biggest Wayne Gretzky fan. And people would, say, well, you're a bandwagon jumper. He's like, no, I'm just loyal to Gretzky. I don't care who he plays with. I'm just loyal to Gretzky. And that's how you've always been, Pacer. You've got your loyalty guys, your guys that you follow no matter what. Steph's been, in one place the whole time, but you are a diehard Curry fan, and you saw them win. Maybe you're a Curry jinx, because didn't he lose his 8,000 game 3-point streak?
I think it was 230 something, but yeah, he lost his streak.
Obscene number.
Yeah, he lost his streak.
Maybe you jinxed him.
I was sure Pacer was following Jonathan Kuminga. That's why who I thought you were talking about the whole time. Didn't realize it was Steph. Fun to learn them.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have heard me rant and whatever over and over again, but if you actually, it's tribalism, right? Following a team, and you go to Mexico and you're on vacation, and someone else tells you that you're from Canada, and it's this massive fucking place, right? And you wouldn't give a fuck about them if you saw them anywhere else, and you see them in Mexico, you're like, oh my God, we're from Canada too, right? And
Greg? You know Greg?
No, that's people from somewhere else that do that. People that are from Canada don't do that. But yeah, people are like, oh yeah, I got a friend in Toronto. I'm like, sweet, I got a friend in New York, and you're from Seattle, and you think that's relevant, right? But it's tribalism, right? So you immediately and inherently trust people in a different way when you connect with them in some sort of tribal form. And one of the biggest ways that happens is sports. But if you actually take your mind away from your fanship, which, Adam, for you would be like pure torture, like putting you under the knife without any sort of sedative or anesthetic. If you can remove yourself from your fanship and you actually think of the logic of being a fan of a sports team, it's just absolutely insanely stupid. You got a whole bunch of players from a whole bunch of different cities and countries that won't be on the team in 3 or 4 years, most likely, that are all from different areas. And one day you're cheering for the guy and the next day you're booing for him. So yeah, you know what it is for me. I'm from Vancouver, and there's no one to fucking cheer for here. So my whole life, it's been really easy to not give a fuck about any one specific team. And that for me is always, I fall in love with players. Like I remember being a kid and cheering for Joe Sakic against the Canucks because I love Joe Sakic, right? And Paul Kariya, I fucking loved Paul Kariya. So I cheered for the Ducks, I cheered for the Avalanche, and then it was so easy for me to just be a bandwagon player fan. I'll be the first to say it. People are like, "Oh, you're a bandwagon Warriors fan." I'm like, great. I'm a fan of fucking winning money. So if you guys can keep losing money,
the overdog, hey?
Yeah.
You've always been a big fan of the overdog.
Yeah. Well, Steph Curry is a lifelong underdog. It's his story is pretty incredible. But it was being at Game 5 was for me. And again, I'm from Vancouver, so I haven't had access to the sporting events that a lot of other people have had. But the single greatest sporting event I've ever been to, and it's not even like. There's nothing even remotely close to it. The energy in that building, as I said to the group in our primer, every basket was like an NHL playoff goal, and every stop was like an NHL playoff goal. Unreal. So that's how wild the crowd is, to put into perspective for all of us Canadians.
So that third quarter must have been pretty interesting then, because they got handled in that third.
The crowd stayed in it. Like I remember, it was 19-4 for the Celtics at one point in the third, and then when Jordan Poole banked that 3 in at the buzzer, people were running up and down the stairwells, it was just insane. I don't know how I have a voice, but yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, good for you. I'm really happy you got to go do that. It's like you'll tell your grandkids about that.
Yeah. And you know what's interesting is we went to the Fairmont, which is probably about 20 minutes away from Chase Center, after to have a drink and a steak. And just so happened that all the Celtics were staying there. When you think about just coming off of a loss and then needing to go to bed, none of the starters were down there. And I think they probably were really upset and went off to bed or did whatever they did. But there was about 5 of the bench players all there and a few different personnel. And Peyton Pritchard, who is actually getting minutes in the finals, he was right beside us. We could hear his whole conversation. The whole time, all he's doing is talking about which team he's going to go to next year. He's talking about going to the Pacers, talking about Kyle Lowry's career, talking about going to the Suns, all these, when Chris Paul's done, all these discussions, and I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, my God, you're about to go home for Game 6 of the NBA Finals, and all you're talking about is which team you're going to play for next year, which just shows you like the different mindset of people that aren't actually, impacting the game to the degree that, a guy like Tatum or Brown or Curry is, right? So crazy stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
It also kind of highlights the business side of this. It's like, to us as a fan, it's all about like the winning, but it's the livelihood for these guys. And, it's going to be hard to get over that sometimes. Where am I going to be? Where's my career going to take me?
It also tells you that it's not the team sport that a lot of other sports are. Like these guys all play as individuals, not all, but there's a lot of them that play as individuals, in my opinion, in that league.
You know what's interesting? I've heard, and I can't talk about this directly. Go ahead, Adam.
I just said I don't disagree with you, Ray. It's different.
So I've heard, and I can't back this up the way I can say that I was beside Peyton Pritchard and heard him say this, but these guys that say have a shoe deal or a clothing deal and things like that, they will have individual pressure from the companies that sponsor them, saying you didn't take enough shots. You're the guy, like to a guy like Klay Thompson, perhaps. And this is just total conjecture. But a guy like Klay Thompson going, why is Jordan Poole scoring more than you? Why aren't you taking more shots? You're Klay Thompson. We need you to be A, B, C, and D. And it's from the pressure from the outside companies trying to get as much sort of airtime and chatter about their player that they've taken on.
Imagine how hard that would be to be a coach, right? Like where you've got systems and you've got all these things and that if you can get everybody to play as a team and do their role and make the sacrifices and put the team first, you got a really good chance of winning. But you live in a world where that's the reality, right? Because the truth is, not every athlete has the same definition of quote unquote winning, right? Like maybe winning is just all about making as much money as possible and setting your family up and doing all that. And it should be like these guys work their asses off. They were born with, a potential lottery ticket. You got to cash that ticket, right? And the truth is, nobody's gonna pay you for the ring. I mean, the ring is cool to get and it's nice to have, but the truth is, most athletes or a lot of athletes don't. If they had a choice between making X amount of dollars or getting X amount of rings, they're going to put the dollars first. Most are. The ones who are truly exceptional are the ones who get to do both.
Back and forth on whether or not I want to coach my kids' teams, because I don't want some asshole parent like myself in my ear being like, why is my kid not getting enough minutes? Why is my kid not playing shortstop? Bullshit like that. And then think about that at a professional level where it's like Brad Stevens has to hear from Jason Tatum's agent and some dude from Adidas why he's not getting enough shots. Like,
yeah,
fuck off.
The best coaches are the ones that are able to manage those egos, right? Like
totally.
That's exactly it. And I mean, we saw it in football this year with McVay, right? He had so many egos there, but he was able to manage them. And that's on a way bigger scale with 50 guys or 60 guys in that locker room compared to, the 4 or 5 egos that you have to manage on a 12-person roster, right?
Totally.
That's such a good point.
And I think in basketball, like when COVID first hit, the last dance came out, and every sports fan on earth was just enthralled with the Last Dance documentary about the Bulls, and like the stuff about Pippen and Rodman and all that stuff was really cool. But all I could focus on was Phil Jackson, just imagining managing those egos, those situations, like just saying, yeah, Rodman, okay, you gotta go burn some steam. So you're going to Vegas? Yeah. Okay. Well, just let me know when you're coming back. Like who does that? Who?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And he had to manage them all differently, which a lot of people don't understand.
Totally.
But I think that's where, like, I don't really understand. I don't know Pop's story, but it sounded like he took the ego out of the locker room, right? Is that like Colter? You could probably speak to that a little more.
Well, and drafted guys who you could.
Well, and I think that they tried to draft around ego. They tried to sign around ego, and it starts at the top. When you look at the stars, like the Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Tony Parker types, like those are guys who at least come across as egoless players.
Yeah.
And that spreads through the organization. But when you've got, a more egocentric guy who's kind of the leader of the team, that'll start to spread through the locker room too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And by the way, Colter, you should definitely coach your kids. It's honestly, as a dad, I would have to say it's probably the most rewarding experience I've ever had as a dad.
And as a bettor, it's how you learn how to fix games at an early age for your kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Never thought of that.
Yeah, we didn't get as much action, like third-party action, as you might think on our run to the Division II Adam Hockey Championship, which we won. No big deal. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of action on us. Like, I think Sports Interaction had a few lines, but that was it. Like, no other sites even let us bet on them. So, but we played it straight. It was all good.
And it was only pregame. Hey, it wasn't. They didn't offer it live. Yeah.
No, there was nothing live. And in fairness, like, our team was the shits. They were just muckers and grinders who found a way to win. No big deal.
Love it.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, so let's we got game 1 tonight. Game 1, NHL Finals. I would argue this is the best NHL final in terms of the top 2 teams. I would argue this is probably the best final we've seen in at least 10 years, maybe 20. I don't think there is an argument to be made against the fact that these are the 2 most talented teams in hockey. Leafs fans may have an objection to that. They definitely were the ones that gave it the closest run to knocking off Tampa.
We're still talking about the fucking Leafs. Can we
I'm just trying to get some fucking ratings. Trying to get some ratings.
They want.
Oh my God.
Trying to get some ratings, Pacer. Our podcast has dozens of viewers. Just trying to get some numbers up. Look at the chat. The chat's going crazy. They're talking about the Leafs, and he's got to tickle their little Leaf balls every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, keep going.
Anywho, so what are your predictions for this series? What do you guys think is going to happen? I have mine, and I think it's going to shock people. But let's hear yours. What do you guys think it's going to be?
Well, since we're the predict what's going to happen in a sporting event group, why not go this route? Hey, who do we think is going to win? What's our gut tell us? I'm going to ride the goalie, and I'm going to take Tampa. I think best goalie in the series, and that's where I got to go. And I know fuck all about hockey, so trust me. Let's go.
Well, I'll go the other way then, because this Avs team is ready. They definitely don't have the goalie, but like their decor is so good, and they've got, I would say, the two best players in the whole series. As big of a statement as that is, with as many superstars on Tampa, but I think they're going to outshine them. It's their turn.
And talking about the decor, though, I think the other reason I love Tampa is thinking about the fucking onslaught that the Leafs put on them in that final game. I don't know if it was game 7 or game 6. And Tampa's just laying on the ground the whole game, just blocking every shot in the moon. That's, I don't know, that won me over. I love this team. So that's my
only took
it would
3
be
years.
cool to see them
Only
make
took 3 years of going to the Cup final. Hey, Colt, to be won over there.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Tampa in like 4 or 5.
Whoa.
And here's why I think it. So it's similar to what Colty said. So I would argue that these two rosters, top to bottom, are very, very close in terms of talent. I would agree with you, Ray, that the two best players play for Colorado. But we're not talking about like a huge gap, right?
No,
like Makar is incredible.
And that's up for debate.
But Hedman's kind of good too. And
Kucherov,
Stamkos, go down the line. Like they're incredible. Yeah. But here's why I think it's going to be a beatdown. So Colorado's goalie, you take everything else out of the equation. Their rosters are very similar. I don't think Darcy Kemper is even close to being good enough. And I'm going to make another bold statement. Vasilevsky isn't just the best goalie in the world today. You could make the argument for him being the best goalie of the last 20 years. And if you think that there's an argument to be made for that, you could make an argument that he is in the conversation for the best goalie to ever play the game.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Like, so it's sort of like somebody was asking me, a casual football fan was asking me about the Bills the other day. And they said, well, how good are they? And I said, here's how good the Bills are. They have the best roster in the NFL right now outside of the quarterback position. And they also have the best quarterback. And so I'm going to make the statement for Tampa that I believe that Tampa has either the 1A or 1B best roster in hockey with the best goalie in the world.
Am I the only one who thought it was fucking hilarious that Adam found a way to bring that back to the Bills?
So he wore his Bills jersey just to say that.
He fucking moves the Leafs in to boost their views from 12 to 13, and then
just playing the game,
Bills
boys.
And to
Bills
show
Mafia,
us
baby.
us that losing fanship for him is like going under the knife. Okay, I gotta give my 2 cents. I gotta give my 2 cents, and I gotta put a betting angle in on this because I think it's important that we do discuss betting in this case specifically. So. First thing I'll say is, who gives a fuck who wins? But I appreciate the analysis. The second thing I'll say is one in support of Tampa. So just really quickly, Tampa to go to win the Stanley Cup 2 years in a row, everyone knows is just fucking insane. The fact that they're back for a third year, it doesn't even make sense. Like, it's absolutely incredible. It's the kind of shit that you really only see in basketball, where teams do it 3 years in a row. It is unbelievable what they're doing and what they've done. On the Avs side of things, the Avs maybe don't have the same market as the Leafs. But they were kind of the Leafs of the West, where everyone thought they were to win. They had the best record in the league, and then they got bounced by teams that they appeared to be superior to. So you're saying the best two teams are actually in it this year. And if you actually rewind the tape, how the fuck did Dallas make the final? How the fuck did Montreal make the final?
Every year it happens.
New York was that team this year. New York was that team this year, right? And they were up 2-0 on Tampa. And I think what Tampa has shown in this playoff enough is that they've been down 3-2 to the Leafs and they've been down 2-0 to the Rangers, is that they have an unprecedented ability to show that it's theirs. That they belong and that it's theirs. They dig so deep and they figure out teams. And you got to, again, go back to the coaching there. What do I always call this guy? What's his name? Jack Campbell?
John Cooper.
There it is. I always call him Jack Campbell. His name's John Cooper. Yeah. John Cooper, man.
They're close.
Fucking incredible.
You know what? And in fairness, you got their initials right, Pacer, which is like generally better than you do.
There you go. And then back to betting. It's like all the personnel and everything. I think from the standpoint of trying to predict what's going to happen in the series, sure, we can have fun and fucking throw whatever out there. But we're going to get some rare opportunities in this series. And the reason why I say that is because one of the things that was super effective for us in round 1 and 2 in the NHL was just looking at teams where you go, holy shit, like, you know, we've got the Leafs at minus 200 here. That is insane. They're playing Tampa, right? Where you get these crazy opportunities where you go, it's a hockey game, and will one team really walk away with it? Colorado's minus 155 at home in game 1, and I think they should be favored. There's no question about that. At home.
Yeah, but 155 is a pretty healthy.
But here we are again. We got the Tampa Bay Lightning as a huge freaking underdog. They're underdogs for the series, and they're underdogs, it appears to be very heavy underdogs when they're on the road in Colorado, which means that even when Tampa's going to be at home in this series, we're going to see like
Pick'ems
minus 110 to plus 100 for Tampa at home. And we're getting plus 130, plus 135 on the road to start the series.
What do you think Colorado's record is in game 1s, though, with that, like with the altitude factor? Like, I bet you that's what it is. It's a heavy lean towards that because of that. But I hear you. Minus 155 is
minus 170 to win the series on 365. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Sorry, Colorado is minus 170 to win the series.
Unless I'm reading this wrong, but I swear that's what this says. To win the series, Colorado minus 170.
Yeah, they're
you know, we're not pregame bettors when we're betting on it, or we're talking on a betting podcast, and none of us even know these odds. Like,
I had to look them up for sure.
Yeah. But that is the beauty of it, right? Is you could be watching this and not be a member of inplayLIVE and think like, oh shit, like let's go bet on Tampa. These guys obviously make money doing what they do. It sounds like there's value on Tampa, and there may very well be. But for us, we're gonna watch a period or two, and then make a decision based on what we're seeing on the ice, and then also what the score and situation is. And quite frankly, that could mean that we're taking Colorado to win by a bunch of goals, right? versus Tampa to win it all. It's just depending on how we see the game flowing. And yeah, that's one of the beauties of what we do. But I mean, it's just exciting, right? If you love sports, you'd be crazy not to be excited to watch this hockey, because these are actually two of the newer NHL teams, right? They've both won the Cup. Colorado won in 1996, and obviously Tampa's won a couple times pretty recently here. But we're all Canadians sitting here going, God damn, could our team just get back in the final or get a cup? And here these two teams are these two teams are from the 90s, right? I think the Nordiques moved to Colorado in 1995. Maybe 1996. And Tampa was around the same time when they came into the league.
Like 92, 93, I think.
Yeah. And here they are going for multiple cups while we sit here and between all of our Canadian cities combined, there hasn't been one. So
damn Regina Pats just can't make a Stanley Cup final. Fuck it.
Yeah, like think about this, you guys. Next year will be 30 straight years without a cup in Canada.
Wow.
And see, that might matter to someone who cares. You know what I mean? but you know what I mean? That's one of the beauties. We're talking about fanship. I don't give a fuck, I love the game, and I'm gonna bet for whoever's gonna be paying me money consistently, and that might mean that I'm betting against my hometown team.
Yeah.
They both came into the league in the era where it was really cool to not have an S on the end of your name.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
Guys, let's switch gears. We got the US Open this week. I don't know if you guys know this. Well, first of all, I would just like to thank whoever figured out that you should put the US Open Sunday on Father's Day. I would really like to thank whoever figured that out. The PGA used to put the Players' Championship with their Sunday round on Mother's Day, which was the worst thing ever. Because how am I supposed to convince my wife that I should be watching golf on Mother's Day? But Father's Day, I can do whatever I want all day. So thanks to whoever figured that out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hat tip. But what's kind of cool about this year's US Open, Pacer, have you ever seen the movie The Greatest Game Ever Played with Shia LaBeouf, where he played a young golfer?
Oh God, I have not seen that film.
Okay, so you guys should all watch this movie. It's legit awesome. It's a true story about this young golfer named Francis Ouimet, who was an amateur. He was 19 years old, I believe, and got the last spot in the US Open kind of last minute. They threw him in. Somebody couldn't go. There's a whole story around how he got to go. And he ends up winning the US Open. And the course that he won it at is the course that they're playing at this year. It's called the Country Club in Brookline, Massachusetts. If you guys want to have some fun, go on Twitter, follow a guy named Luke Elvey, who's actually a buddy of mine. Luke works for CBS Sports, and he covers the Masters, and he's a golf analyst. He's a big, tall Australian guy who's just a beauty. Luke has been posting photos from eye level on a bunch of the holes on the course where you're seeing it like the players would see. You guys should see the 15th hole, the 15th tee shot. Like, as a golfer, some of these are no hyperbole, like some of the most intimidating tee shots you will ever see anywhere. Like, it just, like the fairway looks like a postage stamp on some of these tee shots. This is going to be an awesome golf tournament. It is going to be so fun. There's something kind of cool about watching the best players in the world get the shit kicked out of them. I think that's a pretty cool thing. And they are definitely going to have some challenges this week. I think it's going to be a great tournament. Razor, you got excited when I told you that Francis Ouimet won, because you've got a couple of pretty deep underdogs that you like this week, don't you?
Let's hear it.
Call it.
I've done more of my research on the holes, actually.
But you have one dog that you really like, though, right?
There's one dog, and I can't even tell you why I like him. It's just a guy that I like posted him, and I know we don't shout out the touts on here, but Ryan Fox is 300-1 on Coolbet. So if you want to give them a scare over at Coolbet, check some cash on him right now.
Foxy. There you go. Sorry, Coolbet.
I'm just looking at some stuff here, guys. For the US Open myself, I do like to kind of look at the field and who they have, they have projected leaderboards. If you guys have ever seen that stuff, Fox is 10-1 to finish top 20. Ray. Yeah, I'm assuming accuracy off the tee is pretty important in this one, Adam.
It usually is in the US Open.
The US Open used to be that you want to pick the guys who are accurate because the rough was a one-stroke penalty. It's changed now where it's actually the longer hitters who are able to get a smaller, like a lower iron on the ball, have the advantage. So that's why we've seen guys like DeChambeau, Koepka, DJ. Why these guys are starting to win now, because it's the long hitters can hit it straight for 4 days once in a while, but the short hitters can't hit it long for 4 days once in a while. So you used to see guys like, going way back, Corey Pavin and Lee Jansen and Duffner, and guys that just got it in play, hit greens, they could get up and down around the green. That's who used to do well there. Jim Furyk. It's changed, but I don't know. We'll see. That's the beauty of it. They're always tinkering, so who knows? Maybe it will be some of the more accurate guys that do well this year. But I like the Bombers.
Yeah, it's gonna be an awesome event. And the other thing that's pretty cool about golf right now, like there's a lot of things that aren't overly cool about golf right now. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it's so cool to watch Rory with his swagger back. Like Rory is and always has been a guy. I mean, I don't think any golfer is really any different. But with Rory, when he's got that swagger, he looks so tough to beat. And he lost it for a number of years. Like he went through some swing changes, and he still had a few wins, but he wasn't him. And now, like, he's got that swagger, that strut. His shoulders are back. His posture's good. Like, he just looks like he can beat anybody. And he's playing with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, which I also just love. I think Rory's going to be a problem this week. I don't know how anybody could bet against Will Zalatoris right now. I know that his putting is a little bit interesting, but that guy shows up in every major. Every time.
He pays really well. I was literally just thinking to myself, I really don't want to comment on someone to win, but the first thing I was like, whoa, look at, we call him the Phoenix. Ritzker coined that one. I'm looking at it and I go, holy shit, he pays well. He pays 30 to 1, and I'd be shocked if he wasn't somewhere up there,
Well, I don't know how many top 10s he has in majors since he started, but it seems like he's always right there. Like always. That performance he put on in the PGA was unbelievable. Like for him to lose to Justin Thomas played 3 perfect playoff holes, and Zalatoris lost by 1/8 of an inch. He lipped out. He should have made that. Like that putt should have gone in. He is so good. And he's also like, he's just such an easy guy to cheer for. He's just so likable. He weighs 120 pounds and he just rips it.
And he also starred in a movie too. It's Happy Gilmore's caddy until
That's right.
Happy got pissed off and he gassed him, I think, early.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And then he hired the homeless guy. It was a tough day for Will. For those of you that don't know, Will Zalatoris looks exactly like Happy Gilmore's first caddy, and doesn't even have like engraved on his putter or something, Mr. Gilmore, I'm your caddy, or something like that. He's got or something where he's like, so he's embraced it, and he's awesome. He's my caddy from Bandon Dunes. He caddies on the Corn Ferry Tour from time to time. And he told me before Zalatoris had his first major, like right after he finally got a few PGA starts. I'm like, you like anybody for this week? He's like, Will Zalatoris. And he's been right. Like, he's
really
so good. Yeah. Yeah. He never won, but he was a great bet.
So Adam, Zalatoris, the Phoenix, he's 3.5 to 1 plus 250, 3.5 in decimal odds to finish in the top 10. He's played in 7 majors in his career. He's finished in the top 10 in 5 of them. And he's also I don't follow golf too much, but I know he's in really great form. So you brought that up. I think that's probably a solid, as far as like a rec fun bet goes, 3.5 to 1 for him to finish in the top 10. Then you also talked about Rory McIlroy. Believe it or not, he's actually 2.3 plus 130 to finish in the top 10. So he's 2 for 2 this season, finishing in the top 10 in the majors. And he's 6 for 10 as a whole in the last 10 tournaments. So not majors, but 10 tournaments. Right. So, I mean, so many different ways to spin value into a conversation where you make it sound like it's a good bet. I love betting against Rory, but
my favorite, some of my favorite US Open bets are betting on guys to miss the cut, right? Because anything can happen there. So like the best player in the world can miss the cut at the US Open. Like it happens. You get the wrong weather, you get the wrong this, you get the wrong that. I don't know. I haven't even looked yet to see that, but sometimes there's great value on that. Like Colter, you've been talking in our little side chat for a while about figuring out in baseball, is there more value on betting guys to not get production at the plate than the guys too? You can say the same thing about golf. There are opportunities to make money on guys to miss the cut. It's going to be a great week. I'm just so excited about it.
It'll be interesting. Now, do you think the winner will finish under par?
It depends on weather and if the greens are hard, no. If the greens are soft, yeah.
Okay. Zalatoris is 36 to 1 to win round 1.
I don't know what they're projecting. I would look at the weather if you're going to look at a round one bet and see who's got the better draw. But to me, it looks like they're going to do all their scoring on the front nine, and the back nine, they're going to have to just hold it together. But I don't know what they're projecting.
We met one, Ray. That's how he did it.
That's how what?
So Francis we met did it.
Who's that?
Were you not on part of the show when I
told Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm totally making that up. I have no idea how he won.
They're actually taking like this is I think it's a 27 hole course, isn't it? And they're taking 18 from all three nines.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that. That's pretty cool. Wow.
Yeah. So there'll be some differences to how Shia LaBeouf got it done, but
you guys are going to see a lot of the Shia LaBeouf. Like they've got a statue of Shia LaBeouf and his caddy, and Shia LaBeouf's cat or Francis Ouimet's caddy when he won the U.S. Open was a 10-year-old fat kid. He had a 10-year-old kid as his caddy as a 19-year-old winning the U.S. Open. Like, it's so cool. Like,
I've seen that show on the Golf Channel, I think.
Yeah. It's great. And that kid went on to be like what was his story? He owned like a shitload of car dealerships or something. Like, that kid grew up to be like a really, really big deal. Like, it's honestly, like, it's on the list for one of the coolest true stories in sports history. It really is. Like, it's incredible. Really cool story.
So I've been scouring the books trying to find a line for somebody to show up in a tweed jacket and that hat that Shia LaBeouf wore the whole time.
It's not there?
Not there. But I really want somebody to show up looking like that. I feel like that would just make for a great story.
That would be a great story.
Maybe Koepka in that just super heavy tweed jacket and that like paperboy hat that he wore in the movie. And took every shot, every stroke he was wearing it.
Maybe Foxy will do it, Ray. Maybe he'll show up in the knickers and the whole deal and get a fat kid to carry his bag.
I'll add to the list if he shows up with a fat kid for a caddy for sure. I will add. Right
Guys,
away.
I think it would be kind of cool if we took a couple of these bets and officially said we're going to take them and check back in on them next Wednesday for the show. I think it's important everyone to understand that this stuff is like 100% just for fun. And you certainly can't expect us to win these bets for you. But I'm going to, after just listening to you, Adam, and you, Ray, and then talk about, everything you like, I'm going to go with Will Zalatoris at 3.5 to 1 to finish in the top 10. I'm going to slap 1/20th of a unit on that for me, which I'll put about $500 on it, which is not to brag or anything. That is a very small, fun wager for me.
Before you lock that in, Pacer, I'm going to show you a better way to make virtually the same bet.
Okay.
Do you like Zalatoris for majors?
No, you do. You do, so I do.
Yeah. Okay. So if you like Zalatoris, you can take him each way on Bet365. And for majors, an each way bet in a normal tournament is you put half your wager on them to win, then a half at top 5 for 1/4 of the odds on the second part of the wager. For majors, Bet365 extends it to top 8 for an each way bet. So instead of betting top 10 at 3.5, you can go top 8 at a much better number, if you also bet on him to win.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, so you're getting a better, a bonus number for him to finish in the top 8. It's a nice little incentive.
So you're giving up 2 spots, 8th to 10th, but you're going to get a much better number, and you roll in a win bet because he is due to win.
Now I know I'm making a bad bet if the book's offering me a promo on it, but hey, let's get it.
I love it. I think it's going to be a really, really fun golf tournament. Ray, and you're calling out Foxy, or is that your pick? Your dark, or do you have a more reasonable pick with a dark horse kicker?
Well, I mean, top 10. Top 20. He's 10 to 1.
I love that bet. Where do you see that?
What might be interesting, guys? If you like Fox. And this is, guys, you're getting a live look at how we talk about bets, but usually we bet live. If you like Fox, Take him to make the cut.
Yeah, let's check out that number. Tournament.
You can't. He's not even in the menu. See, those are the things that I like. The guy's not even in the menu where you go, oh shit, we can't. Everyone to make the cut in the menu, at least on Bet365. I'm not scouring books right now, but I'm sure there's. We got a bunch of people on the call with us. I'm sure people are looking at it as well right now. So if anyone, before this is over, if anyone finds a book that offers Fox to make the cut, we'd love to just know what the number is, and then let's go from there on that one.
Yeah, love it.
Chances are with Fox, we won't even be thinking about him on Sunday. But if we are, it's going to be pretty fun.
Hey, if we take him to make the cut, we only need to think about him until Friday.
That's right.
That's true. That's true.
There you go.
Yeah, but like I said, top 20 is 10-1. So
I got to tell you guys a pretty funny story from the other night. So I was playing at a golf match on what day was it? It was 2 nights ago. Had got absolutely dusted by these guys. Just biggest beating I've taken on a golf course in forever. The 10 handicap I was playing was 1 under after 12. That was a problem. And the other guy was pretty good too. We just got dusted. But then after the round, we're sitting and we're having some beers and licking our wounds. And the ENBA game was on. Game 5 was on. And this guy at the other table, he was a guest from another club. And he was pissed off at the late 3 that Boston made because he live bet Golden State minus 11.5 and they only won by 10. And I was like, oh, I kind of overheard. I was like, hey, do you like live betting? And he goes, well, I just made a live bet. So yeah. And I was like, not to be too arrogant, but would you like to learn some other ways to make those live bets? And he's like, pfft. Like he just like scoffed, like, what are you talking? And then so I strolled over and started telling him just a little bit about what we do. And I said, Kate, tell you what, I said, I'm not going to push you, but I'll text you my number. If you want to talk about it, give me a call. But just so you know, like the group that I'm with, like guys are quitting their jobs. Guys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars. The ones that are good at it. It's pretty neat. And then he very reluctantly sent me his email. Okay, send me the code. So we'll see if he signs up. And then another guy
already, Adam. He might be.
And then another guy overheard me in the parking lot, overheard me and chased me down in the parking lot and said, hey, what was that thing you were talking about? I want to know. So one guy was super eager, one guy was not. But we shall see. It is neat though to watch as more and more people are learning to live bet on sports. And we were talking about this the other day. None of the strategies that we have, every one of them is super obvious once you hear it, but none of them are obvious until you do, right? You know what I mean by that? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
And it's one of the coolest things about what we do is that it's like we sell lights, right? These lights that go on for people and they once you see it, you can never unsee it. Once you see that there's a different way to bet on any sport, you can never look at it the other way. Like this show is kind of funny because we never talk specifically about the strategies because you got to pay to play to get those. And honestly, we talk about bets that, you know, we would never promote within the group. I mean, some of these are fun rec bets. But it really is the neatest thing to see when, you know, you bring a buddy in play live, you bring somebody new in, and then you just watch those lights go on. You just watch them start to clue in on, geez, maybe there is another way. Maybe this will work. Maybe this will work. And once you figure it out, you abandon everything that you used to do before as quickly as possible because it's just not as good.
Yeah, we've had a couple guys that have reached out to me, and once they see the strategies, there's a big caveat to this, right? Because there's a lot of guys that come in that actually don't know a lot about sports and don't know a lot about betting, but the majority, right, they know a lot about sports and they know a lot about betting. And I've had quite a few people actually just say to me, holy shit, like, of course that's what you guys do. You know what I mean? Because they understand sports and they go, oh, like, that makes so much sense.
Right.
That works, or that makes you money over time. Simply just because they've seen so many sporting events, and you do very much look at things from a different lens as soon as you go through that process of, I would just say simply, looking at a game while it's on and not having a bet before it started, because then you don't care about the game. Whereas I don't want to say 99% of bettors, but the vast majority of bettors, they get a bet in and then they go to the game, or they get a bet in and then they turn the game on. And oftentimes that is, I'm at my computer or I'm on my phone and now I'm going to the couch, to have my beer, to watch the game with my buddies or whatever the case may be. And all that is now put away. And simply that one little switch where you just go, you know what? I'm not going to bet. I'm a huge Celtics fan, Celtics are -3.5 Thursday night, game 6. Of course, this thing's going 7. But you don't put that bet in on the Celtics. And you just go, okay, what can I catch live based on what I'm seeing, as opposed to what I would have done. And you'll find yourself, I don't think the four of us necessarily do this anymore, but you can probably remember when you started doing this, where you find yourself going, thank God I didn't put that bet in pregame because I got this live. And your bet might have lost. Your bet still might have lost, but you got it at such a better time and value relative to the probability of it happening that made you kind of go, hey, I lost, but you know what? That was a wager that I would take again. And that's such a big breakthrough, I think, that a lot of the people have in the group. And I would say even that might take someone that's joined a month or two to actually, sort of settle into that mindset, or that way of thinking. And go back to your fanship, Adam. I know Ray's fans of all the same teams you are. He's just better at not caring to the degree that he will actually focus a little bit more on.
He just won't admit it to you. No, but
you can, Adam. I can tell you don't bet against the Bills in any capacity.
It's actually not true. I will bet against the Bills.
Let's hear it.
You were on Jacksonville that game when they lost to Jacksonville last year.
Seriously?
I actually wasn't. Yeah,
I called money line. I called Jacksonville money line in the second quarter in that game.
Yeah.
Also, the Patriots games. You got
the first Patriots game. I said they were going to lose. Like as a fan of the Bills and the Oilers and everybody else I cheer for, I know when they're off. I can see it. Right, and then everybody thinks that I'm trying to like reverse jinx them into a win by calling it out, saying, boys, they're going to lose today.
That's part of it.
Ray says it every time. Every time I call it out, Ray will be like, don't listen to Adam. He's just trying to change the luck. Well, I wouldn't change the luck with your money. I'll change it with mine. I wouldn't do it with your money.
Guys, the whole superstitious stuff, if you're watching this, it's just camaraderie. Because my God, like, don't be that person. I'm telling this to anyone watching. Do not be that person.
We have a few internal superstitions with you. Like, only your superstitions matter then, Pacer?
Yeah. I don't have fucking superstitions.
Yes, you do.
That I think I influence the outcome of the game?
Seat see fly?
Well,
that's all for fun.
That's what I'm saying.
All that means is you're not as good at superstitions as I am, because my shit works like crazy. You're just not that good at it. So don't fucking sit here and tell me to stop.
Okay,
Mine works
sorry,
like crazy.
I take it all back, guys. Superstitions are about the person and how good they are at them. The superstitions that we have in our group are fun team bonding stuff. That's all it is.
Yeah, I know.
If that's what you guys get out of it, that's fine.
If you think someone else talking made a goal happen, like Kenny that one time when he still owes us all dinner for not shutting up when he was supposed to, you're not super bright, but it's fun.
Right. So that's why when somebody in a chat shoots a gun early you don't even pay attention to that pacer because you're not superstitious. So if somebody shoots a gun early, you're like, well, that's not a big deal. You don't sit there and scold them in front of 760 members for 40 minutes straight. You've never done that.
No, 40 seconds, 40 seconds. But fair point. I think the rules of what we do, if you you know why, Adam? You know why we do that? If you're celebrating a win before it's happened, shame on you. The reason why I do that is because the outcome isn't finalized yet, and you'd be stupid to count your chickens before they've hatched because the game's not over.
Why you care? No, that's not why you care. You care because you think it might impact your bet.
No. Oh my God. No.
You
God,
do.
no. Absolutely not. No,
Liar.
not even for a second. Not even for a fucking second. No. That is low IQ stuff. I'm not a part of that. I'm sorry. I am not a part of that.
We need a segue.
Yep. I was just going to say, we know exactly when every non-IPL member listener is going to just tune out of this show.
I love it.
It took me a minute, but I got my one pick of the week, and it's a guy ready to break through who hits it both long and straight, and he can putt. He's just not a very good wedge player around the greens. Who is?
And it is
who can do all of those things, but he's not super good at getting up and down around the greens. But he's working on it. Victor Hovland. It's his time. He's gonna win this week. Put all of your money on him.
Oh my God.
Kidding. It's recreational, but that's my pick.
Victor Hovland, the Norwegian. No, is he Norwegian or? Yeah, he's Norwegian, right?
He's Swiss, but he went to school in the States.
Ray, I think. Are you sure? Because the Norwegian flags and Swiss flags look a lot alike. I think he's Norwegian.
He could be either one or both. I'm not.
It doesn't really matter for the sake.
Maybe
of
his mom's Swiss and his dad's Norwegian.
He's Norwegian. Google answered it.
Google me.
To wreck the bad.
I don't even know where this guy's from, so you decide whether you're gonna bet on him.
Colter, you haven't made any picks yet.
I have no U.S. Open picks whatsoever.
Throw out a baseball pick. What do you like? Is there anything happening today? I sure like the way the Jays are heating up right now. Just saying.
Yeah, the only pick I like today, and it's going to be too late for most people to get it, who aren't in here right now. I like the Braves over 5.5, facing the Nationals. Eric Fetty is very combustible. Braves lineup has a number of guys that just regular, so I think Braves over 5.5. It's just like a pick and bet.
Love it.
Yeah, it's the only thing that stands out to me.
Well, they're arguably the hottest team in baseball right now. They look
great.
Really good.
Yeah, that lineup's fired up.
What happened to Ozzy Albies? He's
I'm not sure. Like, obviously he's out. I don't know if
they got enough firepower at the.
Oh, for sure. Well, and there's in the top 4 guys in that lineup. I think there's 4, or top 5 guys in the lineup. So I think there's 4 that hit like 400 against Fetty. Albies excluded. So
there we go. Braves over 5.5 today. What a day. What a week.
Locking now.
Yep. I'll be doing that right this minute.
You guys can tell who's good at betting and who's not, because we're all talking about betting and no one says they're getting their picks in, and then Colter talks and you guys are like, let's get that in now.
Well, I'll tell you what, and not to put any pressure on it, and since we're not superstitious, I know that what I'm about to say couldn't possibly jinx anything. But Colter's baseball picks, he doesn't call a million of them out, but when he does, they're fucking sound. They're solid picks. And Ray hasn't been calling him out to the big group, but Ray's over picks. I've been tailing Ray's over picks. I think I'm 7-1 in the last couple of weeks on Ray's overs. You must be
picking the right one, because I am definitely not 7-1.
I'm just saying the ones that I've been taking years have been great. Your overs have been awesome.
So cherry picking pays off.
Yeah, smart.
Sometimes
that's smart.
Yep. There you go.
Hey, let's lock that Braves bet in. Boys, thanks for a fun show. This is This is an interesting time of year. We got lots going on. Excited to get ramped up for the fall. Ray and we're probably going to take a little bit of a pause on the show in July. We've got some stuff going on, but we are super excited to see where this thing goes. And this format today, the panel of 4, I think is it's a really cool format. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Ray, do you want to tell people where to swipe and all that shit?
Yeah, you guys, I'm just here to tell you to press some buttons on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, go to inplayLIVE.com, punch in the Ray and Adam code, join now, because you're going to want a little bit of time to get acquainted with everything before September 1. So I think it's a really good idea to just know what you're doing before NFL season comes, because I think that's going to pay in spades, and would love to see you in here for the fall.
Yeah, we didn't touch on it, guys, but CFL was really profitable last week for us, and it gives you a little taste, just a little taste of that football action.
Well, and also
markets. There's nothing worse than jumping into your first live stream, especially like a hectic NFL or college football stream, and you don't know where any of the markets are. You don't know what you're looking for. Jumping in, get some CFL action, preseason football, and
yeah, preseason football is amazing. Yeah,
and it's really interesting you say that, because like last year I was kind of giggling that you know we were doing preseason NFL streams, but they turned out to be great. But as Colter just said, like just getting acclimated to the timing of it all, you can use it as your own preseason too, right? Yeah. Just get acclimated, figure out how to take bets quickly, figure out how to do it right, because this stuff happens pretty darn quick, and you don't want to be chasing your tail all day. It's nice to have your setup right. So
smart,
guys, this was a super fun show. Anybody in attendance got to see a little bit of how we break bets down, how we talk about things. Colter, you and I and a couple other guys had a meeting last week where we just met for 45 minutes or so and talked about a bunch of baseball picks. We challenged each other to look at things in some different ways, and we had a monster day, like just a monster. When you talk this stuff out, you see it from different perspectives, you find different stuff. So fun. It's the best part about it. It lets you play an individual sport in sports betting as a team. You get to make buddies. It's just the greatest. It's the best. So boys, thanks for an awesome show. You filled my tank today. This was a really fun one. I needed this one. So thanks, boys. Let's go. Francis, we met US Open. Let's go. Thanks, boys.